Hey guys, Damo here, Martoo Review. I'm down at Kingaroy Senior Soccer Grounds with a local legend and good friend of mine, Scotty North.
Damo, how are you?
I am wonderful. You are from Find Me Funding.
Funding, yes.
Yeah, pretty much says it all. But before we get into that, let's go back. We go back a long way.
We do.
Playing football.
Junior soccer days.
Junior soccer.
Football,
yeah. I call it football. Senior football here for Wests.
Yes.
Back in the day when it was Wests and Easts.
Yes.
And it should still be Wests and Easts. I have an issue. I have a little issue. But anyway, we won't go into that. So you went away, went to uni, came back to Kingaroy.
Yep.
You were the sports development officer here,
yes,
is that correct?
That's correct. So I started in January 2000, working across the 4 councils, so Mergen, Wandai, Kingaroy and Nanango,
yep,
as their sport and recreation officer. Essentially starting to work with volunteers in clubs and to help them do what they need to do to make sport happen.
Yeah, sport in the South, and it does happen here.
Yeah.
Like, we've got some pretty damn good facilities.
Very good facilities.
Starting here with the senior football ground, you know, the pitch here, you know, you go look a bit further up there, the pitch at the rugby league ground,
yep,
then the cricket ground and AFL,
yep.
And it just goes on and on. But while you were in council, working for council,
yep,
as a sport rec officer, you started finding grant funding for council.
That was job number one. So it was week 1. It was, Scott, welcome to the role. Here's your desk, here's your office. You need to write these grant applications because we need money for these projects. And I knew nothing about that at the time,
right,
and quickly made a lot of phone calls over the coming 4 to 6 weeks on what I was meant to be doing. So it was about, from memory, I think it was about $38,000 for stage 1 of the skate park in Nanango.
Oh yeah.
And it was money to upgrade the tennis courts in Tingura.
Yep.
And I think there was an irrigation project in the Mergen Showgrounds complex.
Oh, okay. So, with finding funding, you do a lot of work in this area as well.
Yep. Yes.
So, what projects through your business have you helped fund? So, not help fund, find funding for.
Yeah. So we've done a lot of work for, particularly the soccer club, having that connection here.
Yep.
So
here's one project. We're sitting on it right here. You remember a few weeks ago we had the opening. Deb Frethington came down and cut the ribbon with the senior girls soccer team, and this is fantastic.
It is.
The new grandstands.
Would have been handy to have this back when I was playing back in 1992.
Yeah, remember that? Remember we used to have to go carry all the stuff over and
bring it all out.
Yeah, this is great, mate. So this is one project.
$18,500 courtesy of the gaming fund,
perfect,
the Gambling Community Benefit Fund, as well as some portable seating that's located inside the clubhouse.
Yep. So
we've done a lot of work here with the club on lighting, clubhouse extensions, trying to pull in other, we're currently working on a couple of projects at the moment. One includes looking at some change rooms.
Yes.
So there's currently 2 old change rooms in the clubhouse. It's a bit challenging when you've got...
still smell like they did back in 1992.
It's still got your print on the on the carpet. Yes.
Yeah, from where I used to lay like this. So I was quite unfit.
Give me a massage.
Yeah, give me a massage, Tom Alford.
Telecom Tom. Telecom Tom, good man. At the Tom Alford Oval.
At Tom Alford Oval. Don't forget senior soccer, South Burnett Senior Soccer Reunion on April 2019.
Yes,
yeah,
looking forward
just
to
a little plug there. So, let's talk how much money you've actually found.
When I was working here, it was about, and so I left, was about $2.5 million.
Yep, in funding.
And so then continued to pull in about another $3 million in projects around the place.
Yeah, so we're up to 5.5.
So look, my total running tally is about $45 million in a range of projects, not all of which are big multi-million-dollar projects. No. The core, most of the work we do is around the $5,000 up to the $200,000 to $400,000 mark. So there's a lot of projects.
Because a lot of community groups don't need a lot of money, but they can't just get it through a sausage sizzle.
And it's hard to get a big bulk.
It's hard to get.
So that can take a couple of years of work and planning.
And look, I am a part of a lot of committees myself, and finding funding is really hard. And then when you find the funding that's there, you've only got 2 days to write a grant. and if you are starting from scratch, you're just ripping your hair out.
Yeah.
So that's where you come in. So you find it already.
Yeah.
You sit down with these community groups and say, what are you going to do? We can find this, we can do that.
Exactly.
And the stress is taken away.
That's right.
Because the people, because the people
it's
running these community groups are full-time workers. They're the busy people that are too busy to do it.
Yep, exactly. So, you know, a lot of people have family life, working life, and just the time it takes to make whatever the activity is just to happen.
Yeah.
So people playing tennis, getting people on the field over here to play, even, you know, running meetings. So that, you know, they're the core activities that take up a lot of time. And then on top of that, if you want to improve your facilities, there's a whole new lot of time you've got to put into the research, the work, the gathering information, the quotes, the design details, etc. So what I, you know, and this is something that I picked up very early in my working life, is the major challenges around getting people to just sit down for 2 minutes and to look at, okay, well, what do we want to do for the next two months, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? And so what I've taken into finding funding is all about trying to sit down with the groups and let's just go through a list. What is it that you need money for? Tell me how much, you know, what's the ballpark estimate on what that's going to cost? Forget the funding sources at this point in time. All we want to know is, what are your projects that you need the money for? And give me a quick overview of why you need it. So then our job at finding funding is to then go and come back to you with advice as to where the buckets of money are, when that program is going to open, and what it is that we need to do beforehand leading up to that program. Because one of the key items with being successful in grants is being prepared. So trying to do things in the last week, 2 days.
We're never prepared.
Is near impossible. Particularly if you've got capital projects and you need to get council approvals, you need to get design details, you need to get quotes in. That takes time. So what we do is we work with you, the volunteers, to help guide you through that process, or we take it on and we do it ourselves.
So, and we're talking like school P&Cs and P&Rs. Anything where there's funding.
Any not-for-profit. So gardening groups, P&Cs, P&Fs, schools themselves. SES, a lot of sporting clubs, licensed clubs, essentially any not-for-profit entity. I've even been working with a number of businesses recently, because there's a lot of business grants.
Some business grants as well,
Startup grants, or digital technology, or moving into new products, or projects that essentially create employment and economic activity within a region. There is money for businesses for that purpose.
Because state and federal government, they're really pushing for the advancement of small and medium and large businesses. And it's a great way to do it. So, look, guys, if you want to find out more about finding funding, I'll chuck all the links in here. We'll put a couple of links within the post on what grants are coming up.
Probably 3 major ones coming up at the moment. So the sport and recreation grants for up to $150,000. So that's open now, closing the end of September. There's the gaming fund grant. So they usually about $35,000 grants, or up to $35K, closing end of August. So we've got to get in. We've got to get into it. And with that, it's the 100th round that they're running for the gaming fund at the moment. So they've got a special commemorative round happening. So there are 10 $100,000 grants available to the entire state, as well as one grant for $250,000. So big money, and that's a
massive money.
So so again, the process is all about, like, that particular program is a 2-stage process. So there's an expression of interest process we have to go through first, then submitting the application coming into February of next year. But for capital projects, so they want to make sure that that your project is viable, and that's going to be extremely popular. Usually in a gaming fund round, there's about 1,500 to 1,800 applicants. And they usually approve about 500 to 600, and about $12 to $13 million every quarter. So it's still competitive. So these commemorative grants are going to be ultra competitive. So you're going to have, it's on basic numbers, probably less than 0.5% chance. So it's important to get things organised.
Less than 0.5% chance. So you need someone who knows what they're doing, knows the ins and outs of it. So look, just jump on, shoot Scotty an email.
Scott at findingfunding.com.au.
So we'll chuck that link in here, and he'll talk you through it. And let's get some bloody fantastic funding for the South Burnett region, and make this place as good as it can be. Scotty, champion.
Thanks, Damo.
And that's been
the Martoo Review with Scotty 2.